What is going on, guys? It is Fluxified here and welcome back to another video. Today we are covering all of the latest Rust console news of the week. There's been quite a lot of updates this week. We've had a new dev blog, updates on community servers, specifics on the early access for the next gen version, and we've had some slightly disappointing news as well for the next gen version's public test branch. There's quite a lot to go over, so let's get into it. So the first thing I want to talk about is the next gen pricing. Now this was recently clarified by Pedro Silva, the community manager, and there was quite a fair bit of confusion around this as well. Originally, we were told that the next gen version would be free if we already own the old gen version, which was great news. But when the storefronts actually went live, it did appear that we actually had to pay for the next gen version all over again, even for those that own the deluxe or ultimate editions. Naturally, this did cause a little bit of confusion within the community, and rightly so, but Pedro has now stepped in and confirmed that this was mostly due to a storefront error, and it wasn't intentional pricing. Now, from what I know at the moment, this has now been fixed on Xbox, so if you do own the old gen version, whether it's the base, deluxe or ultimate edition, the corresponding version of the next gen version should now show up as free for your account. For example, if you own the deluxe version on old gen, you now will have the opportunity to get the deluxe version of the new gen version for free. Additionally, if you own the base version of Rust Console Edition, but you do want to upgrade to the Deluxe or Ultimate Edition for the next gen version, you will now see a discounted price for those upgrades rather than being charged full price again. Now, on PlayStation, this is a little bit different. As of right now, the free upgrade isn't properly showing on the store, and I can confirm this personally as well, as I do play on PlayStation. Currently, I own the base version and the Deluxe version on PlayStation, and I'm still being asked to pay full price for the next gen version. Now, naturally, the developers are aware of this and they are working with PlayStation to sort this out. So in the meantime, I would strongly recommend holding off on buying the next gen version if you do already own it on old gen, as naturally, once this issue is fixed, the upgrade will show as free on PlayStation. Moving on, we also had some questions answered in the post regarding pricing as well. One of these questions was regarding the public test branch, and specifically if you did buy the dark camo pack on the storefront and actually got public test branch access as a result, will you actually get public test branch access on the next gen version as well? Now, unfortunately, we actually got an answer to this, and the answer was no. Pedro clarified that the dark camo pack only grants access to the public test branch on old gen, and if you do want public test branch access on the next gen version, it does look like you'll have to wait for a separate solution, if one's even coming. Most likely, you will have to pay for another digital pack similar to the dark camo pack if you do want to access this. Now, in my opinion, this is a little bit disappointing. A lot of us bought that pack not just for the skin, but to actually have access to all of the new content early on the public test branch, and having that access revoked for the new gen version, even though you still bought that skin, it does feel a little bit unfair for the people that did buy that pack, and hopefully it is something that the developers can reconsider as well. Another question addressed was about game sharing. So, for example, if you are game sharing with someone who owns the deluxe edition of Rust Console Edition, will you get access to the next gen version and also the bonuses such as Rust coins, early access and new skins as well? And the answer again was no. Game sharing will only apply to the base game. So if you are game sharing with someone, they will get the next gen version, but they'll only get the base version of that. They won't get any additions such as the early access, Rust coins or the skins as well. That content will stay locked to the original purchaser's account. So if you are looking to get that deluxe edition access and you are game sharing, you will have to purchase that content directly on your account to get access. Now, speaking of early access, we did get a bit of insight into how the wipes will work as well. So the way it's going to work is that from the start of the early access period, players will have the option of whether they want to play a weekly wipe or a monthly wipe. Now, for the first monthly wipe of the next gen version, it will actually last 5 weeks. So anyone jumping in at the start of the early access period on June the 19th will get a whole week extra to play on a monthly server before anyone with the base version jumps in on June the 26th. Now, I'll be honest, that does feel a little bit pay to win. If you are jumping in on the 26th to a monthly server, you'll be jumping into a world where players have already had a full week to grind the next gen version ahead of you on that server if they had early access. And on a monthly wipe, that is a big deal as well, but I do understand that early access is of course the incentive for for pre-orders. So I guess it is also good that they're giving those players that had early access the choice of whether they want to play weekly or monthly servers. Next up, we did get a look at the new anniversary skin we are getting for Rust console. Now, what the developers tend to do is every year we do get a new anniversary skin. In previous years, we've had the Tommy gun and a rocket launcher, and this one does look quite nice as well. I do feel like they're starting to all blend together a bit in terms of these skins. They do look mostly the same from year to year, so it would be nice to see the developers get a little bit more creative with this in future years. What is cool though is that the clip showing off this skin was captured in the next-gen version of the game, and I mean, looking at the difference in visual fidelity, it's honestly night and day. Like, if you pause and compare the P2 inspect animation in this new gen version and compare that to the old gen version, it's like going from a cartoon to a hyper, super photorealistic shooter. Now, I do always comb these clips to see if there are any teasers left in by the developers teasing future content in the game, and I did notice something. It is quite small, but it could be potentially interesting, and that is that there is a body of water to the right of the screen. Now, it could be a new oasis. It is quite hard to tell, but you do have the ocean on the left, so unless this is an island the player is standing on, it could actually be a oasis from the PC version of the game. Now, again, this hasn't been confirmed. That's just speculation, but it is interesting that that is right in the corner of the screen, and I can't help but think that potentially the developers are teasing something a little bit there. I will, however, say I am still waiting for the day that we see a minicopter flying in the background of one of these clips. One day, it's gonna happen. Now, finally, we got a new devlog this week, number 39. Now, the devlog was mostly just a recap of the information we already knew, but I guess it is good to have that information all in one place. They did go over the pre-orders again in this version and also detailed the content of each edition of the game. So for the base version, you get the game and a garage door skin. For the deluxe version, you get the game, 7 days early access, 1,100 Rust coins, a garage door skin, and a full metal AK skin set. And finally, for the ultimate edition, you get the game, 7 days early access, 4,600 Rust coins, a blue garage door skin, the full metal AK skin, and a new L96 skin called Orion's Fury, which actually does look really good, and I hope that they can move that skin to other guns in the game as well, because it does actually look really, really nice. The developers also announced the anniversary P2 skin again, which is available to claim from May the 30th to June the 27th. There's also a 4th anniversary cake which will feature in the game, and I assume will also be edible. Really though, I was hoping for a more comprehensive list of all of the new gen features coming in the game, considering we're only a few weeks away from launch and this was the final devlog. There are still quite a few unanswered questions, like for example, what vehicles are we actually going to get on launch? Will we have scrappies on launch, or will they be part of the public test branch? And even will minis or attack helis feature as well? We do know when OBIE was showing us the gameplay from the Airwolf vendor, he did skip over the menus where typically the minicopter and attack helicopter are available for purchase, so it's still interesting that we haven't actually had confirmation of whether we're going to get those or not in this next gen version at release. There are quite a few unanswered questions, so it would be good to have a definitive list of all of the features we can expect in the next gen version on release, as well as a roadmap for future content coming to Rust Console Edition later this year. We do know a couple of things coming later, such as different weather effects, bigger maps, and higher pop servers, but again, it would be nice to know exactly what we're getting on release. I do, however, think that we will see a lot more reveals in June. I would assume a new trailer as well as potentially more next-gen gameplay. One thing is for sure, and that is that June will be a crazy month for Rust Console Edition. I, for one, cannot wait for this next-gen version, whatever we do get at launch. It is genuinely shaping up to be a huge addition to Rust Console, and to be honest, I think the numbers do show that as well. The Rust Console Discord alone has seen plenty of new members lately, all of them incredibly passionate about this next gen version of Rust Console, and it is great to see so many eyes on this new version of the game. For now though, I think that just about wraps up this video. If you did enjoy this video, please be sure to like and consider subscribing. I do have a video just like this up every single week, updating you all on all of the latest regarding Rust Console. But until then, I've been Fluxified, thank you for watching, and I'll see you on the beach.